Hello, my name is E. Lewis, and I am a textile artist and a storyteller. My studio is located within the bunker, which is 1014 East 18th Street. Within my studio, this is where I have an opportunity to express what my ancestors have inspired me with. As you look at my artwork, please take note. There's a story behind every single piece. It's not always just about the inspiration, but it's about the vision that they were not able to see, but allow me to complete. What inspired me most to be a textile artist was my daughters. Literally, I've always wanted to be an artist, always wanted to be an artist. I thought that was the most amazing thing to do, to express on any kind of vision or to express, to let people see. But I would have to say my daughters, I put my art career on hold when my first daughter was born, and that was like 1991. And then I put it on hold again in 1994. My youngest daughter is a beautiful makeup artist. I mean, she paints on canvas and it's flawless. And when I say canvas, I'm talking about the human canvas. When she paints on a human canvas, it's flawless. And just watching her turn a blank canvas into a Picasso is amazing. And then my oldest daughter is a poet. So to read her writing and her tears on paper, that's another way of creative. It's amazing too. So watching my princess turn into master artist inspired me to become an artist as well. You see, when I create my artwork, I always just try to take time out to just feel what's in the room, feel the vibe, feel the air. The piece up to the top that's located, the brown piece, please take note, that piece is titled No Passport. The reason why I titled it No Passport, you see, because my ancestors did not have a passport when they traveled from Africa to America. Better yet, coming across the Middle Passage. They were laid on a ship. They were stacked on top of each other. And that's all they had was to survive against each other's skin. A lot of my pieces that I create also, again, they have a story behind them. It's not just this artwork, but it's a story that needs to be told. You can't always hear the story that comes out of my megaphone, but you can see my vision when it hits the canvas. The piece that's on the right of me is called She-Fro. The reason why I did that piece was inspired because of my mother. You see, when I was growing up, my mother had this beautiful, big, brown crown. And then one day my mother lost all her hair. And I didn't understand why she would wear this cloth around her head, which was another crown. So she had developed alopecia. So this piece is titled She-Fro in honor of my mother. With my artwork, or better yet, with my fabric, and I use fabric and I use paper. With my artwork, I call it my way of painting on canvas with fabric. So that means I don't have messy watercolor, I don't have paint, which is okay too. But I go through a lot of thread and I go through a lot of fabric. There are times when I'm sewing at my sewing machine, and there's times when I can just watch my mother's fingers just literally take control and help me complete every single seam. I like to call myself a seamstress, telling a story one seam at a time. What inspired me was to do art in paper and fabric was my 6th grade teacher, Miss Cook. And this was at Lincoln High School. Lincoln High School in the 6th grade. She taught us 6 different mediums. And I never thought I would have the opportunity to be a textile artist and a historian at the same time. So that's 2 for 1. But it also was my mother who inspired me also. My mother would sit me in her lap at the sewing machine, and all I can remember is my feet just swinging. Couldn't even touch the pedals. But she would lay my hands on top of her hands and allow me to see every single seam that would either create an outfit or create curtains or create a quilt. So I don't really consider myself as a quilter because I'm still in the beginning stage, but hopefully someday I will become a quilter and be able to even tell a bigger story at an 80 by 80 piece. I only like creating small pieces right now because that's a small story. And those stories are just small chapters in my quilting book that I have not completed yet. Again, it's my way of allowing you to see what's coming out of my megaphone. You see, because a lot of people always don't want to hear what you're saying, but they sure do want to see what you're saying. And what better way to do it than put it into art form? What better way for me to do it than to put it on fabric, which looks like paint on a canvas. A lot of times I try to free draw a lot of my pieces, and then sometimes I don't like to free draw. I like to just maybe see a vision of something and be like, okay, I can do that. But free drawing is probably one of my favorite because it's my creation, it's my story, it's my vision. Completing the artwork is the best part of all, because once you go and you frame it and you sign it, it's complete. But for me to complete each and every single one of my pieces, I have to put a little white pearl in the left-hand corner. That white pearl represents my mom because my mom was left-handed. The mannequin behind me, as you see, please take note, this mannequin reminds me of my mom 24/7, and she lives in my studio. So my mom is always with me at every single piece that I do. I've also been asked to do a storytelling piece in honor of Ida B. Wells. It's talked about the women in suffrage. So I'm working on a piece of that, and I'm looking forward to doing that. That piece is probably going to be at least 30 by 24, give or take. I haven't decided yet. But also take note, the bigger you go, the more fabric you use, the more thread you use, and the more time it will take. But it's a beautiful process because, again, when you finish a piece and you tell the story behind each and every single piece, it is me telling the story of what my ancestors could not have an opportunity to share. And that is one reason why I love working with fabric. Because sometimes you can't even tell that there's a mistake. Only I know that there's a misseam. But the good part about it, I can always come back, reline it, and do it again. My pieces are not just a piece of artwork. Again, it's a story, it's a vision from my ancestors because they did not get a chance to complete the process. One of my other pieces that I love is titled The Middle Passage. The middle passage, as you notice, is blue because my ancestors traveled down this unknown scene on a packed ship. And as you really look deeper, blue is a lot of the colors that I have in mind because that is where that journey started from Africa to America. And a lot of them didn't get a chance to explore that. But the whole beauty part about it is, I'm amazed how you can take this piece of fabric, this piece of fabric, this piece of thread, and create a masterpiece for someone to have a story to understand. I pretty much try to always use freezer paper. I just learned about using freezer paper, which I love freezer paper now. It's much cheaper than Wonder Under. I like Wonder Under, but it doesn't leave this gooey piece on your sewing machine, which I love more than anything. So I like this freezer paper, cut it out, reuse it, do it again, which I think is fabulous more than anything. So it's another process that I've learned. I just learned how to put backing onto my square quilt pieces. I did not know how to do that. So I'm glad I had an opportunity to learn how to do that. I'm honored that I can frame my pieces because when you frame a piece, again, that is beautiful because you sign it, it's done, it's complete, it's rested, and all you need to do is just wait for somebody to say, how much is it? And you sold, it's yours. I try not to do repetitive pieces, and if I do a repetitive piece of something that looked like another piece, I try to make sure I do different colors because I want that one person that bought that piece from me to feel only special and exclusive to them because that story only speaks to them from me. Because I think if I do repeat it of the same color, the same thing, it's a different story. It's a different reason. And then someone will go over to someone else's house and say, you know, I got that exact same piece. Then that means the stories are the exact same. So when you do different colors, you do different variations, it allows each person who has one of your pieces to have the opportunity to tell the story the way I told it to them, because it's gonna change. It will never be the same story. It will always change. So I just want to tell you all, thank you so much for allowing me to share the history of my ancestors and their vision as they crossed the Middle Passage on fabric. So please take note, with my fabric, I'm painting you a canvas. Thank you. Again, my name is Elaine Lewis. Thank you. Please follow me at Jazzy K Productions LLC at gmail.com, or you can follow me at Art by E. Lewis. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to share my passion for art.